And had you have actually arrived in London at that sad time on Air Force One, well, the UK taxpayer would have never forgiven you. I mean, you would have simultaneously ruined your relationship with both countries.
Well, we are fond of efficiency. I really don't know, right, what the big deal is. I mean, we were just two individuals who were desperate to get to our loved ones, after the passing of our matriarch, our beloved matriarch. I thought people would at least be able to see the human side of this, the human level.
But after you were refused, why didn't you go with Harry anyway?
Because if I'm not going to go on Air Force One, then I'm not going to go at all. I mean, we'll just arrive in some common old private jet? What's the point?
Unconfirmed reports have suggested that your legal team are combing through the details of your lampooning on South Park to see if anything more sinister can be levelled against the creators.
I love the smell of lawsuits in the morning.
Look, I refuse to be mocked, okay? I refuse to be mocked. Especially by a couple of juvenile 50-somethings who do silly voices, Worldwide privacy tour. Yes, but you must concede that doing a worldwide media tour to demand privacy is such a stark and hilarious contradiction that it's rife for parody. It almost writes itself.
I'm not a fan of parody, actually. I think it's rude and cruel and mean and intellectually inferior.
Idiot. But I thought you decided, Harry, that the South Park parody was quite funny, actually, and that the best way to deal with the ensuing ridicule was to laugh along with it. I mean, you two did bring this on yourselves.
I don't even know what that means. Oh, it means that we were asking for this with our petulant and whingy behaviour.
Well, thank you for explaining that to me, Harry.
Yeah, well, actually, I decided that it wasn't funny at all, actually, on further inspection, and that calling me Prince of Canada was insulting and cruel and entirely unamazing.
Right, okay. And why did you come to this sudden realisation?
Well, it was after a chat with Meghan, actually.
Shocker.
She'd just given me my phone back with increased screen time limits. So, I was in a really good mood. So I was, receptive to her reception.
Receptive to my deception. You said it, Meghan.
Yeah, so basically Meghan taught me and showed me how to think more clearly about this whole situation. And that's when I realised it wasn't funny and it wasn't a joke at all.
That's right.
Yeah, and then Meghan actually convinced me that we might be able to make some moolah out of this. So that's when I actually, realised that, it was really offensive and not funny at all. And that I was really emotionally scarred.
And that's when we sent our lawyers out, right, into action?
They were unleashed onto the streets like rats during the plague. A host of... Well, actually, what is the collective noun for lawyers?
It's an infection of lawyers, I think. Actually, it's a pandemic of lawyers. Oh, even better. So anyway, our pandemic are looking over all the insults thrown at us to see if, there's anything that can be used as the basis for a legal complaint. Yes, Meghan, but do you think it's a good idea, a sensible policy to endlessly complain and whinge about being subject to criticism and parody? As someone recently said, you're acting like a pair of entitled woke dictators.
Right, who said that? Who said that? We'll sue.
You don't have the right to not be made fun of. You don't have the right to not be offended. So can't you just laugh along at the gentle mocking and be done with it? Cara Kennedy, writing for The Spectator, claims that you're being frozen out of Hollywood, one hideous red carpet event at a time. I added the word hideous. We've had a full work schedule, right? We're not being frozen out by anyone. We're just, not making ourselves available at the moment.
Yeah, we're not putting out in terms of hobnobbing. We're not showing any leg.
if you will.
Yeah, then of course there's the issue of all the media attention that we bring with our fame and superstardom. And I think it's right that we pay heed to that fact. It's not fair that we just keep turning up to steal the show all the time.
Well, there's nothing that we hate more than endless media attention. Sometimes I wish we could just be left alone. But, still worshipped.
Samuel Bramwell from Stamwell would like to ask your opinion, Meghan, on the Jussie Smollett case.
Oh yeah, I remember where I was when I heard the news. I mean, oh my God. I mean, he was just wandering out at 2 a.m. to get a Subway sandwich, as you do. And he was set upon by two men who attempted a modern-day lynching. I mean, they even poured bleach on his skin, which is the most overtly white supremacist thing possible. Who I still mark the day, every year, with a small ceremony and a solemn promise to hate myself just that little bit more.
And I'm glad you pointed out some of the details of the case, Meghan. Unfortunately, of course, he was found to have made the whole story up, an outcome which should have been easily predicted when he claimed his assailants shouted, "This is MAGA country," in Chicago. That voted 84% Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election. Look, Jussie is in the process of appealing that verdict right now. So, I think that we should...
Well, I think it shows a shocking level of racial intolerance. That's what I think.
Okay, Harry. I mean, the important thing is...
Which is another slightly cleverer way of saying racism. Isn't that right, Meghan?
Yes, Harry. The important thing...
And... it can wait.
Look, I think we need to let the appeal process go through, right? I mean, Jussie is sticking to his story without even a shred of hope or evidence. And I think that shows a lot about his character.
Oh, yes. A lot. A lot.
She obviously wasn't able to just say, to hell with the consequences, be damned with the consequences. I'm going to speak out. I'm going to tell my truth, loud and proud. Even if some of the stories are provably false, it's my truth.
Her truth. Not the truth, her truth.
Even if it brings down the monarchy, even if it destroys the monarchy, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say my truth. But no, she didn't live in that climate, She didn't live in a climate that was tolerant to, independent women expressing their views.
Whereas now, women finally get to destroy stuff. Oh, no, hold on. That sounded better in my head. Let me rephrase that. Hold on. Let me give that some rephrasement. Oh, I can't remember what I first said.
We're going to end this interview by going right back to the beginning, when you were still active members of the royal family, still living within castle grounds. Accusations have arisen, Meghan, that you were a little bit of a bully to some of the staff, that you'd speak to them condescendingly, and that you, Harry, are quoted to have said, "What Meghan wants, Meghan gets."
That's out of context, way out of context. I can't exactly remember why or how that's out of context, but it definitely is. All I said was that Meghan must get what Meghan wants. I mean, maybe you've got to know her deeply enough to know why she must get exactly what she wants. Most people don't even bother to take the time because they're completely unamazing.
Well, I'm shocked that anyone would accuse me of being a bully. I'm quite hurt. Actually, it's quite hurtful. Look, if I've ever used a sharp tongue, or do ever use a sharp tongue with anyone, it's because I'm acting on instincts that go above the level of the cleaner people and the bed makers. And, if they slow me down or get in my way, they're doing a lot of incremental damage to the people I'm not helping. So under those circumstances, yeah, I think a few moments of aggression is quite acceptable, actually, yeah.
It wouldn't even make a difference if she really tore into one of them. I mean, really laid in, nailed them. It really wouldn't make a difference because her reactions would probably be proportionate to what's required. I mean, her instincts for social justice, second to none.
You won't fall for the tricks you're playing. Come on, everyone, you know the words. Judge your man.
Harry, you can't do that in the studio version.
Do what? What? Solicit help from the crowd? No.
Yeah, this isn't live.
Makes sense.
Numerous stories have emerged from Our King, a new book about King Charles, one being that he was left frustrated about his golf tour being overshadowed by your announcement confirming the relationship, then immediate demand to be left alone.
Look, we were entering into what would turn out to be the greatest journey either of us have ever taken, when we finally announced our relationship. Isn't that right, Meghan?
Well, maybe not the greatest, but definitely top 10.
And Pa was worried about his golf tour being overshadowed.
And you'd think he'd be happy about his trip being overshadowed by such, joyous news. You'd think.
But he was only thinking about himself, typical dad. And he doesn't even like golf.
But what about people who continue to say, surely these contrasting narratives effectively destroy your argument? Why can't you, yourself, be more forgiving?
Why did Einstein smoke a pipe? We don't know. We shouldn't question them. They all have their foibles. We should just be grateful they're here to change the world and make it better.
But does it occur to you that perhaps it's the fact that they are, for all athletic purposes, men?
Not true.
It's a very harmful thing to say.
It's not about athletics or biology. It's about feelings, Kobold.
Do forgive me.
Forgiven.
But when it comes to running and jumping and swimming and lifting heavy things, what you think about yourself, how you identify, bears no impact at all on the situation. It's only about biology. Feelings make no difference. Feelings and identity have no currency in biology. In fact, you can feel like you're dead, but that feeling itself proves necessarily that you're biologically alive, for instance.
That's a good point, actually. I never thought of it in that way. That was the video. If you wouldn't mind liking, subscribing, hit the comments and the notification bell. Fabulous. Do it all. Thanks.